The 300 to 500cc segment is quite an aspirational but achievable one in India. Moving on from your 100, 125, 150cc bikes onto something in this segment feels special and also feels like an achievement. An achievement of finally getting your first big bike, of finally entering a segment that you've always wanted to as a kid. And that is exactly why this segment is so hotly fought for as well. And now, to get a slice of that very pie, Hero has entered the scene with this, the Mavrick 440, and there's only one question that needs to be answered today. Will this bike make the kid inside you who dreamt of owning a relatively bigger bike happy? There's only one way to find out. Now, a lot of that special feeling that I talked about earlier comes from the way the bike looks. You know those bikes that make you look back each time after you're done parking them? Those are the ones that evoke the strongest of emotions. The Mavrick 440, now it does look nice. This overall neo-retro styling is actually quite elegant. The only issue is that it's not something new. Honda CB300R, TVS Raider and even the TVS Ronin are some of the bikes that this bike has been compared to in terms of design and looks. And while I don't agree with all of them, you do feel that this bike's design is an amalgamation of sorts of the designs that we've seen earlier. And while that might be okay with some of the smaller bikes, this is the premium segment. This is where dreams come true. And in that sense, I don't find this design super aspirational or even very premium. Put this bike in a parking lot full of all kinds of bikes and I don't think this will stand out or even make you feel like you own something special and unique. And that, for me, is a bit of a miss.
And for those comparing this with the X440, yes, the Harley's design was polarizing, but it felt substantial and had a unique and muscular design that grabbed a lot of eyeballs. Something that we did see in our last comparo. And as for the fit and finish levels, they are a bit better on the Mavrick than the X440, but again, there's still room for improvement. There are plenty of wires all around as well as welding spots, and again, you won't really want to see such things on a bike that's a brand's flagship, most premium one now.
Sit on the Mavrick 440 and again, it's not a very premium feeling. And it's not the ergonomics, they're actually very comfortable. This roadster perch means there's a slide lean to the handlebar and the foot pegs, they're nice and low, which means even my long legs, they aren't at a tight angle. And even the pillion ergonomics, they're surprisingly comfortable. My issue, that's with this console. Firstly, it's quite small. And while that's not an issue, these large bezels around it give the idea of a substantial console, but the moment you boot it up, you see that it's actually pretty tight one. The tachometer especially feels quite cramped and the readability of anything above 4000 RPM is quite hard, especially under direct sunlight. And that is on a brand new scratchless console. So when it does get scratched out, which it inevitably will, the readability is only going to get worse.
What felt a bit awkward was the big empty space on the top right corner of the console. It is for the turn-by-turn navigation, but that means when you're not using navigation, which is admittedly about 80 to 90% of the time, it's just this big blank space on the console which doesn't look very nice as you look down while riding. And again, that takes a bit away from the special feeling that I've been talking about.
But hey, a lot of the sense of satisfaction of owning a big bike comes from the sense of speed. And the engine, that's where the Mavrick 440 evokes the nicest of feelings. It's torquey, smooth and is reasonably fast for a retro bike in this segment. 100 kmph at 6th gear is effortless. 110 arrives with just a tingling sensation at the bars and foot pegs, and even at 120, the engine doesn't really feel out of breath. So you know that feeling about finally buying a big bike and being able to comfortably sit at cruising speeds out on the highway? That feeling is definitely there.
Now while we mainly rode the Mavrick 440 out on these open stretches of roads, it has all the characteristics of being an excellent commuter as well. The 187 kg curb weight disappears the moment you get it off the stand, and while it's obviously not razor sharp, the 17-inch wheels make the Mavrick 440 fairly quick in changing directions. And with all that torque on offer, it should make zipping through traffic a lot of fun. And what I absolutely loved was just how light the clutch felt. So much so that you can actually operate it with just one finger as well. So yeah, even being stuck in long traffic jams on the Mavrick shouldn't necessarily be painful. What will further add to the commuting and in fact overall experience is the comfort on offer. Now while we didn't really face any major bad roads, we did have different size speed breakers and we approached them at different speeds. And during all of these permutations and combinations, the Mavrick felt nice and comfortable. But this confidence didn't come with compromises because at high speeds, be it a straight line or whatever corners we faced, the Mavrick 440 felt super planted and confidence inspiring.
So how does it all come together, you may ask? Well, first let me ask you a question. Who is your favorite superhero? All of you will say different names, but it'll all be because of that one superpower that your favorite hero has. Ant-Man is futuristic and tech-loaded, Superman is the Man of Steel, Captain America is redefined what a human body can physically do, and the Hulk is, well, the Hulk. The Maverick though, it doesn't have a superpower. Sure, if just price is your superpower, at Rs 1.99 lakh, the Maverick is very nicely priced.
Don't get me wrong, the Mavrick 440 is quite a practical bike and it'll be a nice purchase for the price as well. The engine is torquey and nice. The handling, it's nice. And the pillion ergonomics are very nice as well. It'll make for a very nice and comfortable commuter, and if you want to travel around with a pillion frequently, this will genuinely make for a really nice ride. And as for your occasional highway jaunts, it'll handle that very nicely as well. And yeah, another thing that's also very nice is that Hero has the largest sales and service network amongst all its competitors, so that'll definitely give potential customers some peace of mind as well. It's just that,
you see, the Maverick 440 is a collection of some mess and some nices. But unfortunately, there are no wows in there. Yeah, the engine is nice, but does it speak to you like the classic 350 does? Yeah, the handling is nice, but does it feel as nimble and agile as the Triumph Speed 400? The neo-retro styling is also nice, but again, is it as brilliantly finished and elegant as the Speed 400? And most importantly, does it carry the sheer brand value that the Harley-Davidson X440 does? You see, the Maverick 440 isn't a bad bike in itself. It's just that it's nothing special. It's all somewhere in the middle, a bit too conservative, and that's where my issue is. Why didn't Hero give it, say, more modern day features or maybe bolder styling? So yeah, if you want your first big bike superpower to be the price, the Maverick 440 can be a good one. But did the young you who wanted a big bike in this segment want just that? I don't think so. I think he or she wanted something more, wanted something a bit more special, and that I don't think the Maverick 440 is. So go out there and take a test ride. And if you feel the same, I would suggest look beyond the price point and be true to the promise you made to your younger self.